Board button, bring up your party chat, and there should be a little tab there. There should be a little tab that says include your party audio.
There you go. Okay. Yep. Done.
All right, we got a viewer. The good old trusty
Nice.
Spider-Man 356, first on the scene. He is a machine. That's how we roll. Garain is up in here.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice, Spider-Man. Welcome.
Now, guys, before Stinking Corpse is in the room, there you go, 3 of the biggest regulars. Before we get going, I just wanted to mention, guys, again, we are playing Halo Master Chief Collection. I have no audio setting on here that I can control for the game volume, so bear with me. Hopefully it's not too loud. I've adjusted every audio setting prior to make sure the game audio is not cranked for this podcast or this stream slash. So let me know how the audio is, and we'll start with an audio test on me, guys. Can you hear me? How do I sound? Is it good? Is it bad? Yes, it's good. Sound fine. Apparently there's an echo, Cyber Gunter says. Well, that's not strange coming from you, Cyber. Bonbon Gaming says, sexy Bonbon's in the house. Cyber Gunter in the house. All right.
Cyber.
Oh, okay, he's just kidding. Okay, he says he doesn't hear an echo. Thank God, because me and Boom had a little issue with mic echo prior to. Okay, Boom, take it away, brother. Say hello to the chat because they're going to test your audio.
Well, first and foremost, hello everyone. Thank you for showing up to tonight. I'm honored to be on, and just let me know if the mic is good and clear.
All right, did you guys hear Boom? Boom sounds fine, perfect. We have the A-OK that is good to go. Evil Scotsman's in the house. Cyber Gunter says hello, Boom. All right, everything is sounding good. All right, so here we go. It is time to get this show officially on the road now. Everything is out of the way. All right, let's do this, Boom. All right, guys. So anyway, we're playing Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Me and Boom decided to go with Halo 2. I mean, one of the primordial classics of the Halo franchise. A great way to start. Great game to play with Boom as well, since going back. And this is like old school stuff, and we're pretty old school. So anyway, guys, without any further ado, welcome to episode 24 of Mixing It Up with Newf. My special guest tonight is the other explosive guy from the Xbox community, Mr. Boomstick XL. His YouTube channel is growing like weeds, and the man is doing phenomenal. He puts out amazing content. We'll get that down to those details later. He's going to tell you about all of his shows and how to hook up and find him. But right now, we're about to find out more about Mr. Boomstick, about who he is, where he's from, how he got into gaming, all that old shit. So that's what we're about to do here, guys. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Mr. Boomstick, welcome to episode 24, brother.
Well, listen, first of all, it's awesome to be here. I have watched your streams, and I know that we've talked privately that you wanted me on, and lo and behold, here I am. Like I said, this is a great time to be an Xbox gamer. Like I said, it's fun to be here with you, but it's even more fun to be here with the community, which is really what drives the Xbox platform.
Absolutely. We got Bonbon Gaming up in the house. Crazy Greek Dude just dropped in. Thanks for coming out, guys. We greatly appreciate it. How you doing tonight, Stinking Corpse? Glad you can make it, brother. So anyway, Boom, let's get going. I'm glad to finally get you on. To see, I can't believe it took me 24 episodes to finally get you in here, but hey, man, it doesn't matter if you're first or you're last, as long as you are here, because you always make your time on any podcast worth a listen. So glad you could be with me, man.
Go ahead, George.
Oh, well, listen, I appreciate the invite. I'm sorry it took so long to get here. I'm not sure what happened, but you know what? We're here tonight, and we're going to have fun.
Hey, I had to put the first 23 assholes on first, right?
Sergeant Major, Colonial Cross is awarded for acts singular death.
Anyway, man, it's good to have you here. Hopefully, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a good time playing this game and chatting games. So, Boom, take us way back, man, down a stroll down memory lane. When did you get your start in gaming? What are your earliest memories, consoles, and games that you basically started out with?
Okay, well, listen, I don't think it comes off as a surprise, but because I've been very open about my career, my gaming career. My first introduction into gaming came in 1978 when my dad surprised me and my brother We were looking through the Sears catalog, and we saw something called the Atari 2600. And I pointed it out to my mom, and my dad surprised us one day after work. We got the original console that came with Combat, and he brought Pac-Man and a Missile Command home. And then that's where, I mean, I started playing games then, and I have not looked back since. I mean, to be completely honest, and I don't think it's a stretch here. I have literally owned every console in North America to date. There has not been a console that I have not owned. And I'm talking going way back into something like ColecoVision and the Magnavox Odyssey. I still have a Vectrex, if you even know what that is. That was where it came with its own TV, and you plug the cartridges into the side. I've been at this gaming thing for a really long time, and you know what? My love for it increases every year we go through. Like, you know, in 2018, we're going to be privy to so many incredible titles coming out, and to be completely honest, as great as 2018 is going to be, I am already looking forward to 2019.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like your parents were definitely very supportive of your video game hobby back in the day. They didn't try to kick you outside or anything like that?
No. Thankfully, they supported everything that we've done. You know, as long as it obviously wasn't criminal behavior. But for the most part, they've always supported me, and you know, I've been the kind of kid that used to make candy stands and sell, you know, 25-cent juices to be able to afford the gaming. You know, deliver penny savers and things of that nature. Anything to get, you know, logistically afford my gaming hobby. But I will say this: my parents were ultra supportive. My parents were also a lot younger than most.
Right.
So
now
yeah,
it's. The guys are saying you're old because you're bringing up the Sears catalog. I think that's Spider-Man and Cyber Gunter. We got the Scotsman in here. Yes, you get the Sears catalog and look for the wish book and see what's coming out for the holiday season, right?
Oh my God, dude! I used to do that at my grandma's. I really did.
Nice. Now, so Boom, you said you had just about like every system. So did you have some of the crazy ones too, the expensive ones like the Neo Geo and the Panasonic 3DO?
Don't you know that not only did I have the Neo Geo CD, I had the Neo Geo cart with about 20 games. And so people want to know, first of all, is Boom rich? The answer is no. My parents, first of all, my mom didn't work. My dad was the breadwinner, and basically he was a blue-collar dude. And you know how so the question is, where did I get you know the money to get all these different systems from? Well, believe it or not, I came across the Neo Geo system from I actually wound up doing trades back in the days, but the games themselves I found at a flea market for $5 and $10 each, and I bought them all out. I happened to get real lucky with you know, with that. But I like I said, for instance, the one of my favorite systems of all time is the Sega Dreamcast, right? Yep. I imported the Sega Dreamcast from Japan, and I spent $1,100. Yeah, I spent $1,100 for the actual system and a handful of games: Godzilla, Pen Racing, and Virtua Fighter 4. Was it? Yeah. 4 or 5? I don't remember which one it was.
Dreamcast was Virtua Fighter 3 TB.
Yes, and I wound up importing that. It was crazy. I mean, I remember that particular Christmas Eve is when we got Sonic Adventure. It was one of my most memorable times. I just absolutely loved it. But yeah, I've been gaming a long time.
Yeah, well, some of the guys are, I think, are inquiring as to, your actual age. What do you want to disclose or not? We got some old guys here. We got some sort of semi-young guys. Bonbon's in the chat. Bonbon's 22. He's probably the only guy that I game with that doesn't have white pubic hair at this point. But hey, how old are you, Boom?
I'm gonna be 48 years young in
48.
September.
Aha. Okay, so you got a few
48.
years on me, but you ain't over the hill yet. You're still there.
Nope, not yet.
Good. So, Boom, I mean, obviously having so many systems and playing so many games, it's got to be nearly impossible probably to pick some of your favorites. But I don't know, what was maybe your favorite memory or maybe your favorite old retro console? And I'm talking pre-Xbox 360.
I don't believe it.
My favorite. You're talking pre. Okay, so we're going pre Xbox 360.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably stick with either the Sega Saturn or the Sega Dreamcast. Is probably my
Nice.
favorite console of all time. I had so many incredible because back in the days I used to import everything. I didn't wait for it to come to the States. I literally, when I tell you, imported everything.
Gotcha.
And loved every minute of it. So I'm gonna go. You know what? I'll narrow it down to one. I'm gonna say the Sega Dreamcast because
Nice.
that was basically the fighter box, if you will.
Yeah.
All the best 2D, Capcom and SNK games you could find. I mean, not to mention all of the Sega classics. I mean, you can't go wrong picking that system. That is definitely for sure. So I'll go with that.
Dreamcast. I mean, speaking of, do you still have like any of your old systems? Have you hung on to them all, or even a couple?
Yes.
Nice.
I have actually most of them, believe it or not. I have I have two versions of the Sega Dreamcast. I have the black one, which was
Sega Sports.
Yes, that came out here in the States.
Yep.
And I have my gray one for the import.
Right.
So I kept my import as well, and I have currently 87 Dreamcast titles still.
Gotcha. Wow. That is fantastic. That's amazing, dude. Well, the Dreamcast, I can't dissuade you on that one. That was a very good system. It had a lot of variety. It had a lot of original IPs. It was just an incredible system, and and it's amazing that it was one of Sega's strongest consoles, and yet it lived a very short life.
It failed.
Unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, it started strong, but that PlayStation tide was just too heavy, and away she went. And Sega, the damage was done, I think, for Sega. By the time the Sega Saturn basically went, I think most of it was done. We got Supersonic Stations up in the chat. He just joined in. Thanks for joining us, Supersonic. Appreciate you being here. A lot of guys will agree with you. They love the Dreamcast.
What's up, everybody?
Well, so since you're the Dreamcast and you've had a lot of systems, I'm going to ask you this question. What would be your favorite, let's go with, what's your favorite Microsoft franchise, Sony franchise, and Nintendo franchise?
Okay. For Microsoft, I'm going to probably say, and this is going to sound very cheap. It's a cheap answer, to be honest with you. But I'm going to say Halo.
Halo?
Simply because, I'm going to say Halo's probably my favorite franchise of the Microsoft, first party. Because, I mean, come on, it's Master Chief. You want to talk about old systems. I happen to have in my possession the green Master Chief Combat Evolved Xbox, OG Xbox in storage.
Nice.
With the clear controller. Yeah, it's very hard to find. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so Sony. That's a good one. I mean, there's really so many. For me, it's easy to say any of their major ones, and I'm gonna do that, because I'm a third-person, story-driven. Oh boy, no, that's okay.
I thought you were an elite. You just came at me like it was like you were invisible. Go ahead, man.
I'm gonna go with the Uncharted series. I'm a huge Nathan Drake fan. Loved every one of those games. Thought that 2 is probably still my favorite PS3 game of all time. I loved 4. I loved 4 so much I played through it twice. I thought the new DLC, where it's standalone DLC, was fantastic. And in regards for Nintendo, I'm gonna probably go and say that my favorite franchise is probably Zelda.
Okay.
I've really thoroughly enjoyed just about all of them, but more so, I really put a significant amount of time into the latest one on the Switch. I put 120 plus hours into that game. Thought it was a masterpiece. A lot of people don't agree, and that's fine. But I thought it was fantastic.
Sure. We got to acknowledge some people in the chat. We got some guys struggling or just turning in. We got G-Man 1172. Crazy Greek Dude is here. Alan Savage is up in the house.
Greek.
So we got a full group
Nice.
of amazing people in the chat. And boom, how about the chat, man? Like, these guys are what makes our community tick. You know, some of these guys don't do podcasts, but they hear supporting. I know they support your channel, and they come out and support me. And a lot of these guys, and I'll have to say Spider-Man in particular, he's pretty much seen about 98% of every mixing it up with Newf stream I've done, not to mention almost every one of my other mixer streams. So, like, you know, it's just, we do appreciate that support, you know, for everything, guys. We can't say it enough. I know you're probably sick of hearing it, but without you guys, I mean, this is kind of pointless for a lot of us. So you can have your thoughts on that, Boom.
Well, look, obviously I've said this numerous times, and I will continue to drive this nail into the wood. This community is second to none. And, you know, we do this content because we love gaming and we love entertaining. But, at the core of all of this, we wouldn't be able to entertain if you guys didn't like what we were putting out. So the support that this community shows us is unbelievable, and it is, like I said, second to none.
Oh, Boom, this stream just got a little bit wet, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure you can tell who just entered the chat.
Would that be Primal Eve?
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing your moistiness, Your Highness, to this stream with Boom. Playing Halo 2 Master Chief Collection. Having a good time here at Boom. So awesome. Well, you have great choices, Boom, in terms of the consoles that you've had and your favorite stuff. I can't go wrong with you there on any of the franchises you picked. Are top dog, man. So just in terms of the current stuff, what have you kind of been busy playing with? And up to this point in time of the year, what have you been busy with playing with lately, and what has been your favorite game of the year so far?
Well, God of War is my game of the year as it stands, and the only way that was budging was if Resident Evil 2 was released this year, and we obviously know that's coming out in January. But the only, like I said, it's my strong number one for a lot of reasons. I mean, come on, I mean, it's nothing short of amazing. And you know that because you talked about it all the time.
Yeah, it was a great game.
But the only game as it stands that's left to come out, because I know everyone's going to say, well, wait, we haven't played Red Dead. Well, hold on a sec. I like Red Dead, but I don't like it enough to move it out of
Right.
Regardless of how good it's going to be, it's not going to move the bar for me with Kratos. That's the only game that could possibly do that at this point is going to be Tomb Raider, because I am a huge Tomb Raider fan. Like I said, I like these single-player, story-driven action games, and the Tomb Raider has had that in spades.
Stinking Corpse agrees with you. Spider-Man in the chat says, meh, it's God of War. And Cyber Gunter likes it, but hasn't beaten it yet. So yeah, you got some people that, and that's like everything, Boom, like, you're automatically going to give franchises that you sort of like, you're going to probably give them that extra nod or a little extra leeway to be your favorite because you do. Like, I love Tomb Raider ever since the reboot came out in 2013. Like, I mean, I've always liked Tomb Raider, but now I love the Tomb Raider franchise. The reboot's never been better. Fantastic franchise. Can't wait to see where they go with Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've got my copy already pre-ordered and ready to roll, so excited about that. You sound like you are too. So yeah, up to this point in the year, God of War has been my favorite game, but I'm leaving some room. Tomb Raider looks like it could be the game that knocks it down a little bit, in my opinion.
I agree. I think that it is possible what they're going to do with that franchise, making it as dark as it looks like it could possibly be, that it could move the bar. It's just, I'm not discounting anything. But as it stands right now, in July 26th, or 25th rather, it's God of War. I put over 60 hours into that game. Absolutely loved it from start to finish. And really, I really wish there was DLC coming out for it, because I almost feel like, that there's so much more.
Yeah, we can take this platform down. Sorry.
Yeah, there's so much more to tell, and I don't know if I want to wait another 3 years for the next God of War, which is probably what's going to wind up happening, because they said there was no DLC plan. But in regards to what I'm playing right now, which I just finished, and I thought was, if you don't own this, you should consider getting it. Far Cry 5's DLC, Lost on Mars, was incredible from start to finish.
Yeah. I think Far Cry 5, to be honest, is probably the sleeper hit of this year, because I think it was phenomenal, but it's one of those games that came out early and people played the shit out of it for a week or two, and then it kind of got lost in the shuffle. And it's a very solid game. Is it game of the year? But I think it could be in contention. It's certainly one of the better titles they've had in a while, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. Crazy Greek Dude's been playing it. Cyber Gutter says different combat styles. Played Tomb Raider at E3 Xbox Experience. He still keeps the Far Cry. Grain says he started Lost on Mars. He hasn't finished it yet. Spider-Man's not a Far Cry fan at all. Fair enough. And Crazy Greek Dude says too many games out and a large backlog. Well, I think that's pretty much all of us right now.
I wanted to add something else to that, if you would mind. Go ahead. I totally forgot about this. Spider-Man is also another game, because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I just think it looks phenomenal. So I don't know if for instance, that God of War is going to remain in the #1 spot, because those two particular titles are exactly, and maybe it's because I'm an older gamer. That I like these single-player, story-driven titles. That might be the case. I'm not sure, but I think that those are two big contenders. And obviously Nintendo doesn't have anything like that coming out. They do have Smash Brothers, but it's just basically a reskin, if you will.
Right. I feel the same way. Like, I mean, while I'm modestly excited, I suppose, a little bit about Smash Brothers, it looks like a ton of fun. Like, I don't know, like, how can any of those games that are just simple premise be game of the year? I mean, if you're going to base it on fun, I guess it has a chance. But, I mean, yeah, it's just a totally different style of game and a totally different type of audience, I guess you could say. But we're going to talk more in depth about Spider-Man later in the show. We do have one of our topics which is related to that, so we will get into that in a bit, guys. EBD Texas Alex up in the house. What's going on, Texas Alex? Thanks for stopping by, bro. Checking this out. Oh yes.
Texas Alex. What's up, brother? Yeah, I'm always talking with that dude on Twitter. Good dude.
Oh, there's Cortana. Somebody buy that girl some clothes. Naked Machines. He's saying hi. Yes, if we missed anybody in the chat, make sure that you let me know. You can put give me 3 zeros and make sure you get your little shout out somewhere along the lines of the show. Appreciate you hanging out with us, guys. Too bad I didn't have a game or something like that to give away tonight, but unfortunately I don't. We're going to get into the topics here really soon, but we do have a few lighthearted questions to ask Boom. Well, first of all, Boom, I guess if you were stuck with any console from any generation that you pretty much had to play the rest rest of your life. Say the rest of them were to got destroyed tomorrow. I think I know the answer, or maybe I know the answer. Well, which console would it be?
I would take my Xbox One.
Xbox One.
If I had
There
to
you
be,
go.
if I had to be stuck with it, I currently have 758 games, and on a 13 terabyte drive, or multiple drives equaling 13 terabytes, and that's where I would, if like I said, stuck with one, that's it.
We got some guys, Cyber Gunner's like, damn, and Texas Alex like 758 exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Primal Eve, yeah, it's no problem. We don't worry about your internet, Primal. I guess it got a little bit soggy over there and went down, but hey, that's okay.
I gotta tell you, she is one of my favorite newcomers. She's really taken the Twitter and YouTube world by storm. I've had her on my show. I want to say it's been 3 times, and she is as witty as they come. And it's good to know her. I got to be honest with you. I'm very happy that we became friends, and I love our conversations that all of us have in our DMs, which is always awesome.
Hey, my old-time friend is in the house. Mr. Treacherous God, what's up, Tretch? We also got James176. We call him SIC. I guess that's how he goes on his gamer tag, but you guys know him on Twitter as James176, I do believe.
Yes, we do.
He says howdy. Alan Savage is up in here giving us the thumbs up. Good choice, by the way. Yes,
Alan Savage always.
Go ahead.
Good dude.
Alan's great.
No, I'm saying Alan Savage always shows up. First class dude.
By the way, guys, I've had this question like 3 or 4 times over the last little while, and I'm not the type of guy that gloats or asks for handouts or things like that. I'm really not. I'm just thankful that people show up. But I have had people say, Newf, how come you don't have a super chat, or how come you don't have this or a donation button? I do have a donation tab on my YouTube page. If anybody ever wanted to drop in like a toonie or $5 or whatever it might be, I do have one there. That's all. I'll get back to that later. Didn't want to get off the course. So great choice on consoles, and I can't blame you for picking Xbox One. I probably would too, because while the Dreamcast holds a special place in your heart, you gotta admit, if you probably went back and played 60% of that collection now, there's some games that are going to still be great, and there's a lot of games you're going to be like, oh, this is not as good as I remember. You know what I mean? Games have really evolved. Yeah. I think we'll always have room in our hearts for the nostalgia of the old consoles. Because, I mean, I could pick the N64 easy, too. And while I think that system was great in 1996, in 2018, that system, trust me, is just not as cool as we remember. Mario Kart, you can still get away with that one, because that gameplay is kind of timeless. It's like Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World. They don't really age that much. There's certain games, especially the early 3D games, that haven't aged very well in terms of the camera work, the controls, etc., etc. Because those era was prior to analog. Well, I guess the Dreamcast had 1 analog stick, but up until the PlayStation came out with the 2 analog sticks, a lot of those games were pretty rough. Next question for you. If you had to take any 3 games to a deserted island, this deserted island could have internet. We'll just say that it does, but you could only take 3 games from anything at all, and this is always the toughest question I ask. What do you think they might be?
Okay, that's easy. That's easy for me. First of all, it's going to be the Division.
Division.
Okay.
All right.
Secondly, it's going to be Destiny. But you say which one, Destiny 1 or 2? Destiny 2 at its current form isn't as good as Destiny 1 Taken King, so I would go with Destiny 1 Taken King. And my third game would be, and I don't know if this counts because it isn't out yet, but Resident Evil 2 the remake would be my game. Those would be my 3 games. One would be a single player, because I beat Resident Evil 2 probably around 100 times, easily.
Oh, you got a lot of faith in that Resident Evil remake.
I have so much faith. I just pre-ordered the collector's edition, which looks mint, dude. It comes with a 12-inch.
Don't say too much about it, Boom, because I'm going to ask you about that later in the show.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. I will reserve my comment, but those would be my 3 games.
Evil Scots, can you make a donation on Mixer? No, you cannot. Sorry. But I do appreciate the gesture. Again, if you ever want to do any type of thing for me, it has to be on YouTube through my PayPal. If you don't do that, that's fine. Like I said, guys, I never ask anybody for donations or anything like that. I just say, like, hey, if you ever felt like it, you're welcome. I do have one at least, so at least you know. I do this for fun, and I'm always happy that people even show up to say hi, whether you're here for 2 seconds or you're here for 20 minutes.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
yep.
I never did this for any type of money and stuff like that. But some people they just like feel like donating or whatever. So that's cool. I've been out of work since June, middle of June. So yeah, things have been a little bit kind of crazy right now. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. Let's keep on topic here. What, Treacherous God, I will pay you in schmeckles, whatever that is. I don't know if that's some kind of sandpaper hand job or what the hell that is, but
well, let's hope not, because you're gonna need a trip to you're gonna need to spend more money at the doctor's office.
Indeed. So let's ask some lighthearted questions now. Some stuff that doesn't have to do with games. Boom. Well, let's start with the first one. Let's talk about your favorite. What's your favorite food or your favorite gaming snack?
You know, I've been asked that, and I actually never snack when I'm gaming. I know that sounds like that's very, very strange. My favorite food, I think this is a classic, but I love pizza, dude. I mean, I can eat it, deep dish, thin crust, regular crust. I actually make pizza myself. I make I've actually put it up on Twitter. Some of my pies. My nephew happens to. I just killed myself. I killed myself. That's not good.
I think you took me with you too. I was like, what the hell was that?
But yeah, pizza is probably one of my favorite foods, and it's probably because I know how to make it really well.
G-Man in the chat says New York City pizza, bro. You can't go wrong with pizza, says James.
Yes.
No, you can't. Pizza's like the universal awesome food. I mean, how can you really go wrong with dough, cheese, and some sort of meat on it, you know? Well, here's a good one in terms of pizza, especially considering that you're a native New Yorker and you probably eat a bit of it. We get this debate all the time, and I'll ask the chat too. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
You know what? I'm gonna go with a yay on that one.
Okay.
Give me some pineapple, some black olives, and some ham, and you got a party.
There you go. So there you go. Black olives, pineapple, and ham, and you got Boom ready to go. Green says he likes making his own pizza. Bonbon says you're a traitor. Alan Savage, I didn't like it until I tried pepperoni and pineapple. Awesome combo. Cyber Gunter says
nice.
Yes for me. Who else we got? Lunch Bizzle's here. Lunch, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Lunch, how's everything, dude?
I'm with Spider-Man, my Canadian brother, Spider-Man. He says no. I also say no. To me, putting pineapple on pizza would be the equivalent of putting fucking apple slices on my hamburger. You know what I mean? It just ain't working. You know?
That's good. I like that.
Jalapenos need to be on pizza, says Stinking Corpse. Treacherous God says, I don't know for what, but okay. Well, great question and even better answers from Boom. I knew he'd come up and have a good one. Yes, Mixer should have a donation. Canadian bacon, yeah, how about that, eh?
Oh,
hey,
that's
I just
stuff,
said, eh?
yeah.
Okay, for me, my favorite pizza is basically pepperoni. I like pepperoni, onions, and bacon and mushroom. And I sometimes like green pepper. I kind of like what up in Canada we just usually call that the deluxe or whatever the hell. So basically,
or the Supreme.
The Supreme. Yeah, everything. I'm not really keen on olives or anchovies, but anything else but that I'm cool with. And pineapple, no. Pineapple, as I said, just something doesn't jive with me. I end up picking it off if I eat it at all. So, all right. So, let's get rolling here. Mushrooms, peppers, and sausage, says James 176. Let's get into the next one. How about your favorite music genre and your favorite band of all time?
Oh, that's good. I love these. These questions are great. First of all, I like everything, but I'm a metalhead.
Nice.
I'm a metalhead at heart. I don't know if you guys have it in Canada, but Sirius here in the States
Sirius,
is our satellite radio.
Mm-hmm,
and I listen to Octane on a regular basis. That is my channel of choice. my all-time favorite band in the history of life would be the greatest band ever to take the stage, and that is, of course, Kiss.
Kiss. Oh, we got a Kiss fan in here. Mr. Paul
Huge
Stanley and
Kiss
Company.
fan.
All right, he likes the
Yes,
big boots.
I got to see them live at Nassau Coliseum during the Psycho Circus tour, and it changed my life.
Well, G-Man is with you. He says the Kiss Army. We got Dreadpool. He's
Yes.
at the grocery store, and it's closed for the night. I'm not sure what that's got to do with anything, but okay. Evil Scots and
Dreadpool
AC/DC.
always shows up. Good dude.
Bunch Bizzle says Slipknot, which also happens to be, I think, one of Luca's favorite
Great
bands.
band.
Oh,
Yes, great
yeah.
band.
Somebody said the Beatles earlier, but I didn't catch it.
Second squad, this is Cortana.
Beatles, fantastic.
Treacherous
have a lot
Gods.
I actually.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, you go
No,
ahead.
I was gonna say I actually have all of the original Kiss albums on vinyl.
Nice.
All of them.
Wow,
Destroyer,
roll that.
Double Platinum. Yeah, you name it. I got them all. I have all. I have all
Treacherous
the
God says
classics.
Dying Fetus is my favorite band. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually a band or not, but I was going to say that must be. I was going to say, is that Norman Reedus' band or something from fucking Dead Stranding? G-Man, Slayer, Metallica, Sabbath, Megadeth, Alan Savage says Tool. Somebody else picked Tool as well. And for Newf Nukem, believe it or not, guys, it's my favorite band from the UK, and they happen to be Oasis.
Nice, good band. Very
Gallagher
good band.
Brothers, man. Oasis was my shit. Still listen to them today. Love those guys. Too bad they folded and went their own way, but hey, that's not surprising.
I was just gonna say they're always fighting with each other. They're notorious for that. Yes,
Yeah. Evil
notorious.
Scots, and he likes them too. Great call, Newf. Savage says, oh, Pantera. Yeah, man. Cowboys from Hell. What an album that was.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Finney Paul. He passed away this year.
Yes,
Whatever
that's
the fuck
sad.
happened there.
Man, he's a young dude, 54. That's not old, bro.
Did they disclose what his cause of death was out there? Because they didn't say at first.
No, they really didn't. They didn't say it was. It didn't say it was like an overdose or anything. He just died in his hotel room.
Yeah, that's sad, man. But Crazy Greek Dude says Disturbed. Supersonic Station, New Kids on the Block.
Oh god, that's
super,
not a surprising answer from
leave
him.
it with the Supersonic, and that doesn't surprise anybody here that Supersonic would say something like that. At least he didn't pick Justin Bieber, thank God.
Oh,
That's
good grief.
that's the one mistake Canada keeps trying to get rid of him. Nobody wants him. All right, let's move on to the next question. Great answers, awesome band from Boom. So, guys, his favorite band is Kiss. Good stuff, man. Yeah, and they still touring too. Still getting around. Okay, what was my next question? Well, the next one is obviously going to be movies. What is your favorite movie genre, and what is your favorite movie of all time? And I'd like to know maybe even if your top three.
Okay, super easy. Horror is my favorite genre.
Ooh, he's a horror fan.
My favorite film of all time, Evil Dead 2.
Oh, the Evil Dead.
Which is
How
where,
about
which is where I get the double barrel gaming and Mr. Boomstick and all of those gun references with the shotgun double barrel comes everything from Ash, my brother.
So there you go, guys. Now you basically, if you didn't know this before, Boom just basically explained how he derived his gamer tag and his name. There you go. Good call, man. So the Evil Dead 2, and you're a horror fan in general. Cool, man. Great stuff. Let's keep, well, here's another one. And so to keep them with movies, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars, 10 out of 10 times.
All right. Thank God. That was the one I was going to say. Don't let me down, Boom. Don't let me down.
No, I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you this. I respect Trekkies, and I watched all the films. But if I had to choose one, it's going to be Star Wars.
The panel of the chat feels the same. Dreadpool, Star Wars. Sick 176, Star Wars. I think Stinking Corpses, Star Wars. Milky Fart's in the room. I like that name, Milky Fart. Sounds like a good combination for Primal Eve. Sounds like things could get a little bit moisty around there. Star Wars from Texas Alex, Treacherous Gods. Wow, we got unanimous Star Wars in here. Evil Scots is question mark. I don't know what that means. What do you like, Scotsman? Star Wars or Star Trek, bro? G-Man, Star Wars, Cyber Gunther says Clone Wars. So I think he means Star Wars, but yeah, I got him. Good stuff, man. Great answers so far. Let's get down. I think I've got through most of the basic ones. So we're gonna get into some topics here, guys. I don't want this podcast to run too long. Well, I guess Cyber Gunther threw a question out. So he says your favorite Jedi.
Ooh, okay.
That might be a tougher one.
My favorite.
Your favorite Jedi and Sith, according to Cyber Gunther. So pick a bad guy and a good guy.
Okay.
Your
Well, my favorite Sith is Darth Maul. I mean, that's an automatic.
Nice.
My favorite Jedi is probably going to be, and I don't want to say Luke because that's cheap. Oh my God. You know, I'm probably going to go with Ben Kenobi and go with the classic, but not old school Ben Kenobi, new school Ben Kenobi.
Okay.
From
So
yeah,
you and McGregor.
Ben Kenobi.
You and McGregor's Ben Kenobi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because the old lame one, he went down pretty easy to Darth Vader. He basically gave up. I think his arthritis kicked in, and he said, fuck it.
Yeah, you know what? I know a lot of people have a distaste for those films. But you know what? Say what you want about them. I happen to really like what they did with Ewan McGregor's Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it would have been great to see them continue. But you know, being that Solo didn't do so well, I don't know if we're ever going to get another Solo movie of that stature.
Right.
You know.
Hey, you're shooting at me, dude.
Oh, sorry about that.
Supersonic Station, General Grievous is awesome. How is the Master Chief Collection now, Alan? Or Games 176? Well, the campaigns have always been fluid. That hasn't been the problem with Master Chief Collection. It's come from the multiplayer. But I can tell you right now that this campaign is running as smooth as silk. And for those of you guys who didn't know or forgot, the Halo 2 on this particular disc was remastered. It actually has upgraded graphics from the original Halo 2 on the Xbox, on the original Xbox, if you guys did not know that. So this game looks much, much better and is super crisp and clean on the Xbox One X right now, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, it's really nice.
Well, since we're playing Halo... Go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say, especially if you're running it on a big screen that supports. Now remember, we don't have the 4K update yet. That's coming. Hopefully by end of year we'll get that. That's supposed to, I mean, you've seen some of the screenshots. It looks insane, dude.
Yeah, it does. Well, speaking of Halo, since we're playing this game right now, which of the Halo games is your absolute favorite?
Halo 3.
Halo 3. Nice.
Halo 3 is my favorite, dude. A couple of funny reasons why. First and foremost, Halo 3 came out on my birthday, September 25th that year, and my awesome wife, who really buys all of my greatest, she really like super supports my hobby, bought me the Master Chief Helmet Collector's Edition for my birthday, and I played the shit out of Halo 3.
Nice. I gotta agree. I'm gonna say Halo 3 as well. I just like the campaign. I liked how they tuned things up a little finer in terms of the play control, and you know, and it was the first game to introduce the co-op setting as well, and you know, and that sort of stuff. And they didn't mess around. I mean, the Arbiter part was kind of cool in this game, but it was also, I don't know. Like, I'm glad they just focused more on Master Chief, and yeah, I'd have to say that one as well. I should jump on the gun with you here. Okay, cool. A lot of people picked 3 as well. Evil Scotsman 3 and ODST. Yeah, ODST was interesting for sure. I liked it, but I mean...
That was really good. Yeah.
All right, so we've gotten through some of the lighthearted questions, movies, music, food, etc. Let's get into some topics for tonight, guys. And this one's kind of recent, kind of come down today, and it's stirring the pot all over the board. Looks like Ninja Theory, I guess, is making Hellblade for VR, but unfortunately, for you PSVR fans out there, they're only making it for the PC, citing that the PC, the version of the game that they're developing is, I guess it's a little too intense for the limitations of the PSVR hardware, and citing that as a reason to not bring it to PSVR. I want to know what you think, Boom, about this in general. I mean, are you excited for that? And why do you think that really is the reason? Because a lot of the, well, I guess the haters are kind of saying they think they're not bringing it because of the whole deal with Microsoft, and that's part of it. That's what some people are, accusing them of. So give us your take on this scenario.
Okay, well, first and foremost, let's call a spade here, okay? Hypothetically speaking, that Microsoft had the VR units. Do you think if they bought a company, if they bought a developer, that they would allow some sort of a game to come out on another console? Of course
Sorry,
they would.
I got to stop here. Boom, I got to stop here, and we got to restart that, guys. Is the stream still happening right now? I guess that's a weird question if it stopped, right? Okay, because I guess what happened was I went into that thing and I hit, in this game when you hit those terminals, it goes to the Halo channel to play the video.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I hit the button by mistake and it started the Halo channel, so basically it stopped our stream for a second there. So it's back on now, we're good. So I'm going to get you to start over and restart that. Sorry about that, guys. I know for next time not to hit the freaking Halo channel middle of the stream. All right, so go ahead, Boom. Repeat what you were saying, because I'm sure people got cut off there.
Okay, real simple as this. There's controversy because, first of all, Ninja Theory is now a first-party Microsoft developer. Okay, that cost a lot. That cost Microsoft a significant amount of money, and quite frankly, if Sony was, if this shoe was on the foot of Sony, do you honestly believe for a second that Sony would allow? Again, let me just restart to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. If Microsoft was the company that had VR, and Sony was the one that purchased Ninja Theory, do you think that they would allow VR, Hellblade on the Xbox console? No. They don't even allow crossplay, for crying out loud. So do you think that they're going to... Right. So do you think they're going to allow it? No. So the reason why, the underlying reason why, very simply, is Microsoft will not allow it. And you know what? Good on them, because Sony is not playing nice with anyone. Yeah, okay, you know it and I know it. It's been a big controversy for weeks with the cross-play nonsense. And secondly, what if Microsoft was going to allow this to happen? What do you think they're getting out of it? Again, you take it. They don't want to allow cross-play, and they've been very forceful about that. Why should Microsoft say, "Yeah, Ninja Theory, go ahead, put the VR version on the PlayStation VR, on something that we don't have for our console"?
Sure. Now in the chat, Supersonic Station's kind of disagreeing, citing the same reason as Hellblade or Ninja Theory stated in their article, saying it's because their game is too resource intensive for the PSVR, because we do know the PSVR is significantly significantly weaker hardware than with stuff that's running on a $1,500 PC like Oculus Rift and the Vive and those things. So I mean, but Rue, I'm kind of I'm gonna side with you a little bit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of internal politics that did play a role here, because of just logistics, you know what I mean? And you got to remember, guys, Microsoft bailed out Ninja Theory. They might not exist in another year or two if it hadn't been for Microsoft stepping in.
Correct.
I mean, obviously, Sony had their chance to buy them, I'm sure. They've been making games on Sony platforms a lot longer than they've been making anything for Microsoft. So think about that, right? So there you go. But, I mean, it's up for debate, right? But I do like your answer, Boom. And, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's a VR game. The game itself didn't really blow the doors off anything with the regular game, so I don't even know what kind of market this game would find for VR. I really don't know. Because VR is obviously a much more limited audience, so you got to think if the game had trouble selling, several million copies on a PS4 and an Xbox One, I don't know how many copies it's going to sell on a VR either, so... Well, let's move on to the next topic, and it still deals with some hardware. And I said we were going to talk about this earlier, and now we're up to it. The PS4 Pro Spider-Man Limited Edition console is going to release next month. People are kind of going apeshit for this one. Boom, I know you're excited for the game itself. What do you think about the console in general, like its aesthetic? Would you buy one? Are you planning to get one? What do you think of it? Do you think the hype is warranted? Do you think it's a little bit like... because it's Spider-Man, it's a place that, I don't know. Give us your take.
I think the console's gorgeous, to be completely honest. I love the controller. I think that the red, just being red with, again, some people, depending who you talk to, wish it had some sort of blue, for his costume.
Right.
But I think that the console it's probably one of their better looking consoles for sure. Am I going to get it? No. My wife surprised me one particular Crossfire right before God of War release, that she purchased the God of War Special Edition PS4 Pro because my Pro sounded like a jet engine, an airplane leaving LaGuardia Airport. It was really bad. It was so loud I could hear it through my headphones, and that's bad. So she heard me complaining about it, and I stole it, and she got me this as a surprise. So if I wouldn't have had this and I had my old one, yes, I would have purchased it for sure. Because you got to look at it like this: it's $399, and you're getting the game. So you're getting the game for free.
Yeah. The chat is chiming in, and it seems to be a bit of a lukewarm. Some guys kind of really like it, some saying, well, it's not bad, it just needs something. Spider-Man and Cyber Gunter said it does need a little bit of blue. I would agree, especially when you look at the Pro. You think that middle section even would have had a blue layer in the middle.
Yes.
And maybe some blue around the bottom of the controller or something like that. It does look like a little just plain red and white. I mean, it's starting to look like the Canada flag. Which is probably not a bad thing, but hey, to me personally, I think it's cool, but once again, it oozes of that what people said. I think it's Evil Scots in the chat, like stickers, right? I mean, it basically looks like, while it's nice, it still looks like a guy took about 2 minutes to design it. Like, let's put a big sticker on it, let's color this thing, and that's it. I mean, look, let's call a spade a spade. The Sony consoles that have been coming out don't hold a fart in the wind to, like, say, the stuff that the Xbox Pope puts up online, in my opinion. And you could probably agree with me there. He destroys these guys with his designs.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you something. I've been saying this for quite some time. I wish someone would hire Xbox Pope because his designs are second to none. I mean, they really are just so out there. I mean, it's he would be a great designer. I will agree with you and with the chat. The Xbox custom consoles are always so much better. I mean, they really, put out. For example, that Minecraft one is gorgeous. I'm not even a Minecraft fan, and I would buy it.
Okay, see, now I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, because I actually thought the Minecraft one was horrendous. But if you're a Minecraft fan, I could get how you like it, but I just thought it was like, eh. But let's get this one from the chat. We'll come back on this too. Let's get the chat. If you liked the Spider-Man console, let's hear one in the chat. And if you think it needs a lot of work and you're a nay on it, give us a 2. 1 for it's cool, 2 for nah. Sinking Corpses 2, Texas Alex 1, Spider-Man 2, Evil Scotsman 2, Treacherous God 2, Cyber Gunter 1. So far, 2s are in the lead. Gears 5 S Hardcore. The Gears S console was better. Crazy Greek Dude says. Yes, I would have to agree.
I agree with that on that. That was a gorgeous looking console for sure. I owned it. I sold it.
Supersonic says 1, but he wished it had some different colors. Okay, so there you go. Crazy Greek Dude 2. So there you go. Mostly 2s. A lot of Xbox guys giving this one a bit of a nay. Not necessarily it's terrible, but yeah. I think it's. Would you guys agree then that it's better than the God of War limited console? Because I think it's better. But that's just me. What do you think, Boom? Do you think you'd take this one over the God of War one?
You know, I gotta say this. The God of War, when I first saw it, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was like, nah, I don't know what's going on here. But then after, but seeing it in person changed my view on it. Especially because I knew what the runes meant now. I really like that console. It's sharp. I actually think it's better than the Spider-Man one. That's me personally.
Okay. Good. Well, again, man, everybody's entitled to opinions. And that's what you got you on the show for, man. Opinions are fucking awesome. The only time opinions are not awesome is when you got a little shit stick chiming in and you can't handle your opinions. Like Buddy says in, what's it? I think you shot me. What's the character in Few Good Men? You can't handle the truth. Well, I guess it should be, you can't handle opinions. That's pretty much how it is in the video game community. So great topic. So there you go. Spider-Man, it comes out, guys, in September. Certainly looking forward to seeing the community posting their pictures if and when they get it. I know some people double dipping. I know some people planning to sell their Pros and upgrade to this particular model. Next topic is Microsoft apparently is not making not just one, but possibly 2 next generation consoles. This has been a really hot topic for the last couple of days. Boom, I'm sure you've touched on it already.
Yes.
That they're talking about a streaming Xbox, one that will stream, I guess, from the Xbox Cloud or Microsoft Cloud and blah, blah, blah. I don't know the technicalities, but they're talking about that. And then alongside it, traditional hardware. So give us your take. Are you excited about this possible development? Does it make sense to you? And would you even buy that stream box?
Well, you know what? I think, a lot of Xbox guys have multiple Xboxes in their homes for a lot of reasons. And I think that this is going to be a situation where you see Xbox guys double dipping because of the price. You're going to get your $500, well, we hope it's $500, Xbox One 2, whatever it's going to be called, Project Scarlet, right? You're gonna get your proper disc-based console, and then and I think Colt Eastwood was going back and forth with a few people on the price. I believe it was quoted as being possibly between $100 and $150. Now, most people, like I said, who have an upstairs and a downstairs, or has like a den, or has different areas where they play their games, would consider buying both for the price. Because think about this: if you can get the same games just being streamed for $100, would you not take a chance on that? Because we know it's going to be running on the Microsoft Azure servers, which are probably the best in the world. And of course, it's going to depend on where you are in the country, on how your streaming is going to go. But I mean, come on, man! I saw Twitter basically melt. It's pretty ridiculous.
Supersonic Station in the chat has kind of a point. I guess there's some truth to it. He said he's tired of Microsoft using his beta testers this gen and then basically not supporting it afterwards. But then you could almost say that for some of the Sony stuff too, where PlayStation Vita was basically on life support after a year and a half. And how many other things does Sony not really support? VR has been a bit of an exception to the rule. But I don't want to get off topic. Great points. Texas Alex thinks that it's going to be $199. I want to know from the chat if you would buy a stream machine only, press 1. If you'd buy the hardcore version of the Xbox or the regular version, 2, and put 3 in if you think you might even buy them both. Stinker Corpse is 2, Texas Alex is 3, Evil Scotsman says 2, Treacherous God 2, Cyber Gunter 2, Spider-Man says he doesn't know, I guess he's on the fence. Dreadpool says 2. Dreadpool again 2, so he's very firm that he wants a hard copy Xbox.
Most people do, and I don't blame them. It's a traditional gaming console, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that give players the choice. If you can't afford if you can't afford another $500 console, I get it, because you know what? Money doesn't grow on trees, and it's expensive. Our hobby is very expensive. But you know what? Looking at it from a financial point of view, Microsoft wants to be in everyone's homes. What better way to do that than have a cheaper, non-traditional console? You know what I'm saying? I mean, how cool? Think about this. If you, let's say, for instance, you're a Sony guy. Right, you're a big-time Sony guy, but you always wanted to dabble in Microsoft and not really take a deep dive of $500. You'd probably be inclined to spend $100 though, right?
Right. Yes.
So it makes good business sense.
I think you're right, Boom. I think that's something that Microsoft's going for, because while us hardcore guys, we like our Xbox One X, we like our graphic fidelity and all the bells and whistles. I think Microsoft is gunning to get into as many homes as they can, so they're trying to avoid the restriction of the price point, which often dictates, especially like not the hardcore so much, they're not so fixated on price. But when you're looking at the average consumer walking into a store, price is always paramount. It's the reason why PlayStation had a big lead from the start of this gen, because it was $100 cheaper. And then you look at the sales last year, which basically dictated to Sony and Microsoft. Remember the Black Friday sales when PlayStations and Xbox One S's were like stupid cheap, and they were flying off the shelf like fucking picking boogers and flicking them? I mean, they were going so fast. You know what I mean? So it is definitely proof in the pudding. That if you put the price is right, the gamers will come. And overall, an Xbox is an Xbox is an Xbox. Microsoft doesn't care how you play their games. Phil Spencer has kind of said this before, as long as you are playing their games. That's like a movie company. At the end of the day, you know what? It's great if you go to the theater, but you know what? At the end of the day, Paramount Studios, Warner Brothers, if you're buying that movie on disc, or you're watching it in a theater, or you're renting it through a digital streaming service, as long as you're paying for it and they're getting a piece of that pie, that's what they want, right?
Yep, you better believe it. Listen,
absolutely.
A sold
Go ahead,
disc,
take it away.
A sold Blu-ray disc is just as important as a movie ticket, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
With the same principle in mind, and we're not trying to dumb it down, but you got to call a spade a spade. Microsoft, it does not base their boardroom meetings on consoles sold, right? They base their business on active users, right? That's the new coin term of this generation. And if they can get $100 streaming box into everyone's homes, they'll do it, and it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be good for the company, because more people will be playing Xbox games, and it doesn't matter whether you're playing on a traditional console or you're playing on a streaming box.
Absolutely. There's gonna be, obviously price is gonna be the drawback to the next Xbox console, and then the validity, or I guess, or the reliability of streamers and the limitations of your internet provider could be, or your data caps could be the biggest limitation to the other one. So it's a bit of a trade-off either way. But I think at the end of the day, for the price, people would, and I think the other cool thing is you'll see a lot of homes buy the standard console, and they might even pick up a second stream box, you know what I mean, for the kid's bedroom, or to take to the cabin, or wherever it might be, just because it's so much cheaper to get it, and then they can still consume their Xbox alive, and they're Microsoft products. So yeah, I definitely think it's a smart move on their point. Because they'll even sell more hardware, and in terms of those hardware numbers that the other side likes to constantly brag about, Microsoft might have a huge edge up because they're going to be selling Xbox in one form or another at the end of the day. So, and that means more games, more subscriptions, more money. That $10 billion just probably now quadrupled.
Oh yeah,
for Microsoft.
I mean, look, you gotta look at it from a couple of different point of views. You take the streaming service, and let's say, for instance, they get it running where you can't even tell that that's not a disc-based game, and they could. The Azure servers are fantastic, and they are legit. If they're able to do that, you pack on services like Game Pass, which I you see me on Twitter. I'm constantly playing games from Game Pass right now. I just broke 7,000 gamer score for the month of July.
Very nice.
And I've been playing the shit out of Game Pass. And you know something? A game like Night Shift, I would have never played that game. If you haven't played it, my God, you should. It's so good.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I got nothing to lose.
Dude, you should play it, Newf. It's fantastic. It is so much fun. It's like playing a movie, and it's not that cheap full motion video crap either.
Right. Well, we gotta pause the show and give people a shout out. We got Saltiest Gaming up in here. He says he's late.
Salty.
That's okay, Salty. We know
right,
you're
brother.
knocking out peeps in that Fortnite grind, bro. We know what you're up to. Hey man, if you're playing with the wife, that's all that matters. If you play with the wife, she plays with you. It's a win-win scenario, bro. You know how it goes. Alrighty, Cybergunner says he beat that game. Alright, let's move. I think that's we're not going to beat that topic to death because you're going to hear a lot more of it over the next couple of weeks on 101 podcasts. It is a bit of a hot topic right now. Lots of people giving opinions. Some people liking it, some people not. And at the end of the day, options are good. Let's get into one that Boom is definitely going to get lit up with because I know his eyeballs already getting big on this one. Capcom goes behind the scenes of the Resident Evil remake, shows off, the process behind the remake, but most importantly as well, they have shown off that incredible collector's edition, which you mentioned at the top of the show you were planning on buying or you've already got it pre-purchased.
I pre-ordered it. Yeah.
What's your take? What's your take?
My take is that is a big I love you to Resident Evil fans. I think that first of all, if you know, you don't know, it comes with a 12-inch, fully detailed Leon S. Kennedy, which I think is amazing looking. It comes with all your standard special edition stuff, your soundtrack and all of it. But it also comes with, and I think again, as a fan of this of the series, it comes with, and I thought this was awesome, a replica of the actual item box from the game, and I think that is just amazing.
That is really cool.
It's $200. It is pricey, but you do have time to save, which thank God I have time to put money away for that.
Put away your Christmas coins, people. Make sure you dig deep in those stockings.
Oh yes.
Because it comes out January, right?
January 26th.
Mark that date on your calendar. Guys, who is getting Resident Evil 2, the remaster? Put 1 for yes and 2 for no. Would love to know if you guys are as excited as Boomstick. Evil Spider-Man says no. Evil Scotsman's 1. Cybergunner 1. Supersonic 1. Evil Scotsman 1. Cyber Stinking Corpse 1. Treacherous God 1. Damn, the ones are coming. So, well, I think we got a hit on our hands. Capcom, you can already start counting your coins for January month. It's too scary too, says Texas Alex. Hey man, I'm sure you can get through it. It's good, but I don't think it's that scary. Then again, I don't know. I never really did play Resident Evil 2. Boom, what would you say, man? Resident Evil 2 is a scary game?
Well, the original one definitely gave you some horror. This one looks to be like real horror. Like they really wrenched up the horror on this one for sure. I mean, it looks It looks really good, and it looks really scary, which is great. I mean, if you're a horror fan like I am, you're looking forward to it.
Gotcha. Nah, it's pretty awesome, man. The game is looking good. The trailers I've seen so far, they really knocking the graphics out of the park, and staying true to what made the game amazing to begin with, but obviously overhauling it with today's control scheme, today's graphics. It's pretty awesome, man. And like I said, those are games that were good in their day, but if you had to play them now, you might be slightly disappointed. But to get remakes of them in modern day with the better controls, I like these ideas. This is why I think games from the PlayStation 2 era, the Dreamcast era, some of these eras I think are definitely worth remaking because, because they need the modern day upgrade. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's like Roseanne Barr needed the modern day the weight loss program or whatever. I don't know, but no, she was scary then, still scary now. Let's not even go there. I don't want to open up another can of worms. God only knows this stuff will be recorded and something might come back to haunt me. Okay, well, very cool. We know that Boom is getting Resident Evil 2. He's very excited. I know he's going to have an unboxing and a big review for us come January. You can count on that. So mark my words. Let's get into the next topic, because that one really wasn't a big topic, but let's talk about this. Was kind of interesting, and again, this is kind of a segue because old games coming back and finding new life. So it's cool that we're going into one of the most classic mascots of all time. Apparently, the Switch version of Sonic Mania Plus accounted for about 52% of its sales in its opening week. Game is doing really well. People do seem to have that Sonic Mania craze. They're starting to fall in love with Sonic all over again. But don't you find it weird, Boom? I was just saying how some old games needed the new makeover, and yet Sonic couldn't get the new generation games right and had to go back to its old school roots to basically have its best reviewed game and one of its best sellers in decades. What do you think about that?
I just think that it just goes to show you that the classics are always going to be classics, regardless of how you 3D it or you try and put a modern spin on it. The classics sell. And, a perfect example of why classics are still selling is you look at what has been done with the NES and SNES classics, right? I mean, those sold like hotcakes, and they continue to sell. As a matter of fact, there are some locations that don't even still have them, right? So going back to an original Sonic game, which the problem with Sonic is when you slowed him down, it changed what the game is. Sonic is fast, and that's what made what do you call it? All the Sonic games of classic lore so incredible, right? He was fast. They took that away with Adventure and a few other things, and it kind of ruined it, right? So I'm very happy, to be honest with you. Listen, if you remember, Newf, a couple of years ago, Sonic was on its way out as a franchise. I was concerned that Sega may not ever release another Sonic, and now to see that people are buying it, that's great for fans of the series, but it's great for Sega. And I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, and Sonic Mania is a fan service game because I think the developer that did it originally was such a big fan of Sonic, they wanted to create it and put some work in, I guess, and kind of got it licensed. So that's pretty amazing that passionate fans, sometimes turn around and resurrect and revive these games. I think it's fantastic. Now, in terms of the sales, I find it interesting, 52% on the Switch, which has the lowest install base of the three major platforms. And I mean, that's pretty cool, but do you think that's partly because of the audience for Switch tends to be a little bit younger, or do you also think it's because Switch essentially just doesn't have as many games? It's portable, and it just doesn't have as many games to rely on or buy as Xbox. Like, Xbox is flooded right now with AAAs and AA's and indies, whereas Switch, pretty much right now, Switch is becoming a real big indie machine, and a lot of these games that are having trouble finding a home on the Xbox, I've noticed, or the PlayStation, are finding new life on the Switch. So do you think there's some truth in all that?
I do, Newf. I actually do think that there is some truth to that, because the reality is that the Switch doesn't have a lot of games. And you know what? I don't want. I hate to use the word starving. That's the thing. Starving artist, right? I hate saying that. But you know, if you're a Switch owner, especially if you're a younger one, so I think Sonic is something that they could relate to, right? Because they do have the Sonic and Mario games. I mean, Sonic is in Smash Brothers. So I think that there's because of little things like that, there is an audience. There's no doubt about it. But on the same note, that portability, that goes a long way. Let me tell you. And I think a lot of people just don't give it enough credit for being portable, because you can just take that system and go. And you know, Sonic's a new game. Well, I mean, it's a new old game, but it's still a fantastic title you can take on the go.
Absolutely. Great points, Boom. I couldn't disagree with you, man. Having a portability, and again, a lot of the audience is a bit younger base for Switch. So like when parents are looking to buy a game, you know, those games just kind of, you know, really stand out. And Sonic is such a world-renowned property, widely recognized. It's you know, but it doesn't matter which console it sells the most on the end of the day, as long as the game sells and that people like it and it's well received, because Sonic deserves another kick at the cat, you know, and to come back in strong form. And apparently I've heard as well in the article that that these devs are actually now, if they can get support and I guess more funds, they're actually tempted to make a viable 3D Sonic game, which would be fantastic.
I agree. I think the world could use a 3D Sonic. I don't think you could ever say, no, it's just not for me. You know, no, the world could use a 3D Sonic. Sonic is one of those characters that have spanned multiple generations, and to be completely honest, I still think Sonic has a place. You know, in this generation. I mean, what do you think?
Yes, I certainly do. I think Sonic has a place. Sonic is still a very loved character. It's just too bad he's had a series of just, I guess, mediocre games at best. Some promising, you know what I think what happened is a lot of these games at Sonic is they're trying to overcomplicate Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, you want to it's just like the Master Chief. When you're playing Halo, you want to play as Master. You don't want to play as like 20 or 30 different characters. They're trying to like appeal to a lot of different people, and when essence is, and I think all you need to do at the end of the day is make a game that's like Sonic Adventure was on the Dreamcast, only with much better controls, and tweak some of the camera angles, obviously better controls, better camera angles, and go back to its roots. Go back to what makes Sonic great, was highly colorful levels, lots of fun jumping platforming, lots of, you know, like great music, and lots of speed. Levels where you can be Sonic at his fastest and best. Not these, you know, convoluted levels where, you know, I just think they're just trying to do too much with the franchise to appeal to so many people, and then it just loses what makes them special.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's like any property, man. If you put properties in too many places, people start falling out of love with it. You know, the difference between Mario and Sonic is not that one character is necessarily better than the other. It's the fact that Mario has at least been backed up with a series of amazingly awesome games. But then again, you don't get 5 different Mario games on a console generation. Nintendo's lucky if they make like 1 or 2, right? Sonic's had like what during like the during the GameCube era, it seemed like there was one every second year.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Right?
No, I mean, look.
But anyway,
you have to respect the property. Oversaturation is never a good thing. So that's why you saw, you know, oh shit.
Oh shit. This whole
Yeah,
shit.
No, I think I stopped the stream. I jumped out into the Halo channel thing. Damn it.
You did. Now you
Yeah.
gotta wait and just hit the B to back out. That's what I did.
Sorry about that.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we might as well just. That's alright. Hold your thought until you jump back.
Okay. Yes.
Actually, it might not. I don't know if it what. You know what? It might not for you because you're not the one streaming.
Oh. Okay. Well, instead of let me let me finish my point.
Probably for me. Go ahead.
Oversaturation of any IP will ruin it, and that's what happened with Sonic. They tried to come out with a Sonic game for everyone instead of a Sonic game for everyone, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it just being a Sonic game for your brother or a Sonic game for you because you like classic, or a Sonic game, a game for this person that likes 3D Sonic. They just need to release one good Sonic, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's stopping. Get your heads down.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you anymore on that particular one. They just need a couple of good games, restore faith in the franchise, and away you go. But anyway, let's move on to the last couple of topics of the evening. Just want to get your general thoughts about No Man's Sky. It came out today. I think it was today or last night for the Xbox One. It's a highly anticipated title on the PS4, which was struggled out of the gate, living up to 1,000,000,001 promises that were never fulfilled. Apparently, from what I've heard so far, people are saying this is a much better game than what it was on the PlayStation when it first launched. Some people are really liking it. Some people could steer care less. So, what do you think? Boom, did you get a copy of this game? I'm thinking not. Did you get it?
I did not get a copy. Unfortunately, like I said, I put a significant amount of time into I put 90 hours into the original, if you could believe it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people are like, well, there wasn't much there. I really enjoyed it, and it was bare bones. This is the version that they wanted to put out, and I'm happy that... look, let me just say this. I'm happy for Sean Murray and the team at Hello Games for a lot of reasons. They really got thrown... I mean, and for good reason. They promised a lot and under-delivered. So they kind of got their licks that they deserve. Yeah. This is the game that's coming out, that came out Tuesday, is the game that they wanted to put out. They just couldn't at the time, and I get it. But I am gonna say that I'm happy for the Xbox gamers that are supporting it, I think the last thing I saw on Twitter was that there were 40,000 active players on the Xbox version. Wow. That's a big deal considering the game came out yesterday. That means that
Spider-Man says...
Dead.
Spider-Man says he's seen lots of people playing. I have seen quite a few as well. I've certainly seen lots of people post pictures and things on Twitter, which is encouraging. Texas Alex wants to try it out. Spider-Man says that Sony did push it out. I agree. I think Sony at the time, they didn't have a big lineup for that year, certainly in the fall. And that was their cash cow. That was their go-to game, and they put all their eggs in a basket. And I think the difference was Sony should have just let that one come out as like an indie title, whereas they put all the AAA marketing behind it, but it technically was at least a AAA title in essence when it first came out, at least not in the eyes of many, and that just really killed it right from the get-go. I definitely think it was a victim of Sony's just rush to get it out and a terrible marketing of the game, and unfortunately, it got slammed pretty bad, and it even caused poor Sean Murray to literally go into hiding for pretty much a year. He pretty much disappeared off the face of the earth. But kudos to them. Kudos to Hello Games and Sean Murray for having faith and a vision in the game and sticking with it, because after the crap they took, they could have easily said, you know what, guys, we worked as hard as we can. This game is dead. Let's bury this one and move on. They could have easily done that and walked away and went out and found different jobs or whatever, but they didn't. So kudos to them. That's what you call courage. That's what you call just believing in your product. So if there's nothing else, that's a really cool success story right there.
Oh,
and finish
absolutely,
what you wanted to say,
dude.
Boom.
No, I mean it's what I was gonna say very simply is that obviously there's a market on the Xbox. See, if you go back to plenty of the Sony-only titles that weren't true exclusives but launched there first, they sold okay, and they're coming to Xbox and they're showing significant growth. And I have a good feeling with this one, the same way I did with Nier Automata, that it's going to sell very well on the Xbox platform. And you know what? This is great for Xbox and its gamers, and here's the reason why, Newf. Companies will be less likely to launch only on a Sony platform, knowing that there's 40 million plus gamers out there that are potential buyers.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes, indeed.
I understand that the Xbox platform doesn't have 85 million consoles. I get it, but there's still 40 plus million players that are potential buyers for a particular title. So to keep it off of that platform, if you haven't signed an exclusive deal with Sony, to me, does not make good business sense.
Absolutely, I totally agree. It's still it's not as big as Sony's number, but it's still a number too large to ignore. At the end of the day, 40 million consoles out there is nothing worth sneezing at. You know, and that's a easily potential to get 2 million sales or 5 million sales. So kudos to them. And let's hope the game does well. Regardless, you never want any game to fail miserably, especially when you know they put so much heart and time into it. And I'm glad to see they have like a co-op mode, I guess, now, because that's the biggest kicker. That game can be a bit of a grind at times, but I think with a friend coming along for the ride, it should be quite a bit of fun, actually.
Oh, absolutely, dude. There's no doubt about it. No doubt
let's get
about
into
it.
our final. Let's get into the final topic here, guys. And again, thanks to everybody hanging out with us in the chat. Looks like we lost a few viewers, but we appreciate the ones who have been sticking it out the whole time. We hope you're enjoying this conversation with me and Boom. We're going to get down to the last topic, which is not necessarily something that's been talked about in the media, but something that as gamers I think we're kind of talking about. Games like Rainbow Six Siege, Grand Theft Auto 5, these games that have constant updates and DLC. I mean, I want to know from you guys in the chat as well, and definitely from Boom. Do you think this is really good? Is a good market trend? It's a good publisher thing, and it's good for gamers, or do you just think at the end of the day this is a way for publishers to save a ton of money without developing a new game and just milking the old franchise for all it's worth? Because we had this conversation, I think it was last night. I don't know who it was, but we were talking. It might have been with Dealer Now. It might have been on this podcast, and we were saying like how GTA 5 is a great game. Nobody's disputing that. It's amazing, and we're glad it was so successful. But I mean, after since 2013, that's 5 years. They've been milking this franchise on the 360 and now on the Xbox One, and they keep coming out with new, fresh content, and that is fantastic. They're supporting it, but at the same time, you can't help but feel that's the reason that GTA 6 isn't out already, because people don't want to abandon the old game, and the publisher isn't moving on, so they're just taking you for every single dime, and I have a feeling it's going to happen with Red Dead as well. So, Boom, what do you think, man? Do you think this is great for gamers, or publishers are milking franchises, and we're going to see more of this?
You know, that's a fine line, and here and why I say that is this: when a game comes out, if you're one of those folks that bought into it and really enjoyed playing it, it would be wrong of me to say that I wouldn't want to see them continue to support it like a GTA, for instance. Because GTA, the main game, was very long on itself, but the fact that Rockstar has supported GTA 5 like it's going, I mean, look, there's two ways to look at it. One is obviously the success of this is going to fund the next GTA. That's obvious. They've made so much money, it's ludicrous. But if you're a player of that particular game and you play online, then you are appreciating all of the updates, and you don't feel like they're milking the series because you feel like the developer is giving you more and more to invest in. But you know, I guess you can kind of think of it like when we were getting all those HD remasters, right? In the early part
Right.
of this generation, they were remastering basically everything. And it was
Yeah.
at that point, it was more of a cash cow than
Sure.
anything. But I think it depends. A game like The Division, a game like Destiny, a game like Warframe,
Prepare for combat.
there's like for instance, The Division 1 lasted many years before we're getting a 2, and they constantly supported that game. So I don't know. I mean,
Right.
milking is it depends on how it's done. If it's done
Right.
where they're respecting the player, then it's not so much milking. But if it's just a cash grab, then obviously
Right.
you can attach that milking title to it.
Sure, and I think again we're into this part of the game cycle now. We are starting to see more games as a service, where games are evolving, continually evolving, where graphics are starting to plateau, where a lot of people don't really care so much if the game is amazing looking or it uses all the hardware, as long as the game is good. I mean, World of Warcraft is still going strong after how many years, for crying out loud. Yeah, and I don't know if we'll ever see, like, you'll see a new World of Warcraft. You'll just keep seeing expansions for the old one. And then the players that love it don't really care. And I think that's the same with GTA or any other title that has a great following. I just never wanted to get to the point, well, let's just say that my favorite franchise, let's just say all of a sudden the Coalition decides, Gears of War 5 is going to be it, guys. We're going to make this game, we're going to sell it, and then we might not make another one ever. This is it for the franchise. It's going to end here, because we're just going to keep making DLC packs and loot boxes or whatever the fuck they're going to put in it, and just hope that people keep buying it. And I understand why companies do this more and more often, because when they find a successful game and their market audience grows, the bottom line is it's just way cheaper for them to come up with, say, an expansion pack or DLC than to make a game from scratch, to build it on a new engine, to build for new hardware. All of those things cost millions of dollars. And sometimes companies don't get a return on their investment, whereas I think that Rainbow Six Siege right now, while it might have started slow, it's probably like, Ubisoft is laughing now, because this game has been just killing it for the last year or two with MLG, and its player base is growing, and they keep supporting it with add-on content and new maps and new weapons and things. So that is kind of cool. So I agree with you, Boom. It is a very fine line to tread. I guess it just depends on what game it is, how much you enjoy it, and what kind of content they're going to bring for it. As long as it's not like laxy-daisy, lazy content, I think gamers will smarten up and be wise and not pitch in. So great points, my friend. I guess it depends on the game.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with the points. Like I said, I will be the first one to call out a developer if they half half step it, or they're looking to milk gamers. I'll be the first one to call them out on that. But like I said, it really just depends on what they're doing and how they're respecting the actual gamer. That it's not being like gross.
Yeah, I think if you want to look at something that I could call more as milk, would be EA and their sports franchises, because they literally charge you. They charge you $60, $70, $80 every year for essentially the same game. Sports games don't generally change, but there's nothing really new other than a few roster updates, a few hot packs, a few like just additions. I think sports games need to knock off with the annual crap and just give people roster updates and significant updates, because it's paying $60 a year for the same effing hockey game, same foot. To me, the EA has milked those franchises. Like, that needs to stop. Fans need to just stop supporting that shit. That's just my opinion. I know the diehard Madden fans are out there cursing me to death, like, no, how dare you? But aren't you sick of, like, why did he even need to charge you $80 the next year for what? A minor graphic upgrade? You guys know what I mean? Could you imagine if they charged us every year $80 for, say, I don't know, let's just say like one of our popular games. Say it was like, it was Halo 5. But every time 343 added like one extra mode to their multiplayer, or tweak the graphics, they charge you, here's the Halo 5, 2018 edition with 2 improvements, and we want you to pay full price. Now, gamers would be outraged. They would. Like, they'd be on the forums and tear Microsoft and 343 a new one. So how come EA can pull it off with a sports game? I don't get it. But I guess as long as those games keep selling, and they will, they're just Chip putting money in their pockets, man.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't even buy sports games anymore. Like, I have my 18 series now, and I'm done. I'm not buying for like the next few years. I probably won't buy anymore until the next generation of them.
I get them when they show up in EA, the EA Vault, and that's when I'll play them.
There you go. That's one way to do it and save yourself a ton of money. They're a little bit older, but hey, you solved that problem. Anyway, I didn't want to get on a rant going off the rant, but yeah, like I said, games coming out like that, content, look, as long as they keep adding intriguing, awesome content, and GTA has done that for the most part. I think the shark card part of it might be a little bit of a cash cow, but I mean, their content's been pretty freaking cool so far, so kudos to them. Hopefully they continue that with GTA. Well, that is it, guys, for the topics tonight. We're at the 95-minute mark. I want to thank everybody for coming out here and supporting this particular podcast, this stream on Mixer. Halo 2 is what we've been playing. We're going to, as we always, before we close the show, this is now your time to ask Boom any questions that you guys may have for him from the chat. So I'm going to give you a minute or two while we're farting around with this level. Hit him up with a question. We asked a lot of questions at the early part of the show, but maybe you have one I didn't ask. So now is the time. Texas Alex says, great show. Spider-Man says, Boom, are you waiting for Red Dead? Are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get Red Dead, but I'm gonna get the standard edition. I'm not buying any of that extra bonus nonsense that was very controversial about. I have to buy the $100 edition to be able to play the this mode or that mode. I'm gonna get the standard $60 version of that and just play through it.
Gotcha. Will you buy Anthem? Cyber Gunter asks.
Oh, dude, that's an automatic. I actually cannot wait for that game, to be completely honest. And I think we're gonna have a real winner here with that. I think they're gonna take all the cues of what Destiny did wrong and run with it. I have a really good feeling about that game. I'm very excited, and I'm hoping that they have some sort of collector's edition for that when that comes out.
Monkey Punch asks, what's your favorite retro console? I think we asked that at the start of the show, but Monkey Punch was not here. So if you want to go ahead and tell him.
My favorite retro console is the Sega Dreamcast.
There you have it, Monkey Punch. And I don't know if I asked you exactly, but what was your favorite Dreamcast game?
Oh man, let's see. Man, there's a lot of them. I'm probably gonna say Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was probably my favorite Dreamcast game.
Nice. There you go. Treacherous God says yes. He likes your choice. Alan Savage had the 3DO. I think he still has it, actually. He's a big supporter of the 3DO.
3DO was a great system, dude. Great system.
Yeah, Mr. Trip Hawkins himself. I'm reading that book right now, guys, The Console Wars. If you guys ever get a chance to read it, about the big battle between Nintendo and Sega for console supremacy, it is a fantastic read. I highly recommend it. It will blow your mind. Some of the stuff I knew, but there's a crap load of stuff I had no idea about that will just make you go, wow. And you'll definitely look at Nintendo in a different light. Let me say Nintendo was, they were the big bully of the retail market for a long time.
Yes, they were. People don't know that.
Good book. Good book. Monkey Punch asks, what's going on gaming with Ripley? Thanks for stopping in. Monkey Punch asks another question. Are you ready for Shenmue? Now, does that mean Shenmue 1 and 2 or Shenmue 3?
Well, Shenmue 3, I was a supporter on that title. I was a backer day one. So yes, I'm very excited for Shenmue 3, and we'll be purchasing the HD remaster of Shenmue 1 and 2. I was a fan of that on the Dreamcast.
I was gonna say that had to be one of your favorites, favorite games, probably in the Dreamcast, eh?
Yeah, it was definitely up there for sure. I really enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah, Treacherous God also backed it on Kickstarter as well. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the show here. We're at the 100-minute mark. I want to take the time to thank Boom for taking time out of his night to be on this podcast stream with me. I knew I couldn't wait to get him on. He did not disappoint. He never does. The man always talks a great game when he comes on podcasts. Very knowledgeable. He's got a big heart. It's in the right place. Loves the community. Gives back to the community. Plays lots of content. You guys know that. So make sure you support him if you're not already, and I think the majority of you are. But if you haven't had a chance, he's going to let you know where you can find him on social media and his channel. Go ahead, Boom.
Okay, well, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mr. Boomstick XL. And if you'd like and you want interesting content that does not try to trick you, I'm very, very cautious about my titles. I stand by being a non-clickbait kind of a YouTuber. I may not have, 25,000 subs, but I do this for the love of not only gaming, but the love of this community. So if you're interested and you want to pop over on YouTube, check out my channel at which is Double Barrel Gaming on YouTube. And you know what? I'm currently sitting at 149 videos since November 3rd of 2017. I put a lot of work into it. And my 150th video will be this week's Breakfast with Boom, which airs 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I already put a tweet out there on who my guests are going to be. They are amazing.
There you go. Alan Savage says you are an amazing stand-up guy, and we're getting rave reviews for this show. Everybody says they great show. Cyber Gunner, love you, Boom. Awesome show, says Treacherous God. Yes, indeed. So
really appreciate
again,
that.
Boom.
Thank you
so
much.
Amazing show. This time went, it flew by. You had great answers. Love hearing some of the back history and some of the lighthearted stuff too. And that's why I do these, man. So people not only get to hear you talk about games, but how you got into games and a little bit more about you on a different level. And hopefully I'll keep improving my mixing it up with Newfs. And just because you've been on it once doesn't mean you won't be on it again. I'm trying to give as many people in the community some spotlight, but I'm going to do some more podcasts with more than one person on the panel. I did one on the 20th episode with Chase Jones and his brother, which was pretty cool.
Awesome.
So yeah. So I'm going to do that again soon. Hopefully I'll have Boom. Maybe it might be you. It might be somebody else with you. But, yeah, we're going to do it again soon.
Awesome. It's a great time. Thank you so much, Newf. I really appreciate it. And thanks to the chat. You guys were awesome.
Dreadpool, appreciate you showing up, brother. Great show. Boom is always a great speaker. Yes, he is. Well, anyway, guys, I want to wish all of you guys a great night. We'll see you on Xbox Live or perhaps on the Switch. Make sure you add me. Might try to get a Mario Kart tournament going this weekend if anybody's interested. And if you're wondering how we do this, is if you have an Xbox Live account, add me there. If you got a Switch, we'll do an Xbox party and we'll chat on the party while we're playing Switch. I know it sounds pathetic, but hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? Mm-hmm. Later, Stinking Corpse, you are my brother, man. I appreciate the support. Spider-Man, as always, dude, thanks for being here, guys. Have a great night. We will see you guys soon. Peace out. Until next time, this is Newf, signing out.